All right, everybody. Good evening. Time to start our meeting. How's everybody doing tonight? All right. Welcome to you all. Welcome to you all that are watching on Facebook or YouTube. Hopefully you all can hear, and hopefully we have a good meeting tonight. We've got kind of some. It's amazing the weather out there. We've got this soupy weather. I really could use a few dry weeks on my job site. I know that. But do we have any visitors, first-time visitors tonight? Craig, I don't think you qualify. Well, no visitors tonight. Well, hopefully you all out there will choose to come on in and see us. I appreciate all you that are here. It's kind of fun to see everybody. We've got new faces that show up every month, people we might have seen in a while, so thank you all for coming back. You all know me. I like to run through the agenda, so we're going to buzz through. As far as officer's report, probably the biggest thing that I get a lot is people ask me, hey, what's the deal with the move? I'm not going to give you a great information because right now we're still in a little bit of a holding pattern. We still think we have our place lined out, but there's, the wheels of bureaucracy turn slowly. So, that person has to find a place, and they have to negotiate, and then there's contingencies about who wants to come here, and there's a lot of stuff up in the air. So, I don't know if Chuck, if you think I handled that well, but it's really not a great update. We've got plenty of time to make the move. So I would bet there's going to be 3 or 4 months before we really know something solid. So, yes, sir.
Are you targeting a certain month to make the move?
Well, our lease is up next May, so we've got that much time. I think if you'd asked me a few weeks ago, I would have thought it would be sometime this fall, but probably a little more unsure now than maybe as of a few weeks. But we've got some time to work those out. So. I know that didn't answer any questions, but at least I tell you what I know. Mike, our vice president, is not here. David Roth is not here. He said he had nothing specific to report. Craig is here. Do you have anything tonight? This is the kind of meeting agenda that I like. John Steyer, I didn't see John for our financial update, but we're still paying our bills. So I appreciate all of you who have joined, and that supports it. I appreciate all the volunteers too to help us with our projects, and Chuck leading the effort on all of our projects that help continue to keep our dues low. Much appreciated. Communications, I didn't see Brian, but I really do appreciate the newsletter going out. Ron, if you're watching, thanks for the work. Thanks for all of you who contributed to the newsletter. I was pretty late again, so my personal apologies for always struggling to get that on time. Don has magazines and books as usual.
Yes.
Don, any major things you need to sell up to entice people to come over?
Well, magazines are a quarter a piece or 5 for $1, and books are $1 a piece.
Same deal as usual. Magazines 25 cents or 5 for $1. Books for $1. And those are great deals. So go check it out. Remember during the week to check us out on Facebook or on Instagram. There's a Facebook group, and there's a Facebook group also where people interact and ask questions. So if you see something out there, please feel free to jump in and start a discussion or help somebody where to buy wood. That seems to always be one of the topics. But sometimes there's some good stuff. If you have your work out there, feel free to tag the guild on your Instagram page. It's fun to see what people are working on. As far as YouTube, all of our meetings are out on YouTube. So if you haven't checked that out, go to our YouTube channel. You can just search for Kansas City Woodworkers Guild when you go to YouTube and subscribe. And there's a lot of good content there. And that's where we have our Woodwords, the podcast. We'll probably get fired back up with that sometime in the near future. Kevin, do you have any update there?
I don't have anything as far as the podcast goes. I've got some training opportunities. I got to make sure I get everything. First off, before I get too far into it, I want to thank Norm Carpenter and all the members of the training staff that covered for me whenever I had a little problem with falling down. For training this we've got coming up, I've got quite a few lists lined up. Advanced scroll saw, George Rex Road has got that scheduled July 24th, that's September 9th and 16th. That's a minimum of 2 people and 4 maximum. Craig Arnold will be pushing his project finishing.
It's an excellent course.
He's a pusher.
Yeah. He's got July 4th through the 6th, August 18th, or August 28th through the 30th, September 18th, 19th, and 21st. And let's see, we've got October 13, 24th, and 26th, and November 6th, 7th, and 8th for the finishing. Then he's got, is that July for your class on the
Clock is December.
August?
August for the clock.
Yeah, we've got 3 spots still available for the August 7th Craftsman clock. Then another one coming up in December 4th and 5th, 18th and 19th. And then coming up in August 13th is Dan Rubidoux, and he's going to tell you more about that one tonight. Building or carving a northern cardinal. And coming up is the intermediate woodworking on July 14th. It is full, and hand tool woodworking also full for the same date.
It's September 14th.
September 14th.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Nice to see you back. Appreciate that. So, Chris, do you have anything to talk relative to AV or events or anything in your departments?
As for ASV, please go like and subscribe our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, we have over 350 subscribers right now. There's a lot of interesting features and stuff we can do with YouTube and things I'm working on behind the scenes, but we need more subscribers in order to reach those levels. We can do those things. So go subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications for the live stream, such as the meetings, our skill builders. We're talking about starting to put some trainings up there and some additional things with some sponsors we're working on behind the scenes. So I can always use some help if anyone is interested, stuff that involves tech and some stuff that doesn't, some stuff that you can do from home sitting on your couch. So if you're interested, please contact me at av@kcwg.net, and that'll come to me. As for events, I'm working Coming up in the end of August, 1st of September is the Handworks up in Iowa, and we're going to be trying to put together a group to either carpool or take a bus, depending on how many are interested, going up to Iowa. Working on final prices and details on that. That should be coming out here in the next couple weeks. So be checking your emails for those when that comes out.
So just to add, so Handworks is in Amana, Iowa, and it's run by the guys who did the bench crafted bench sets, and they've had a long history in the hand tool, sort of the really well-known celebrity hand tool guys from around the world. Really, it's a really kind of a really cool thing. Jamil Abraham, yes. So thank you for that. But I went there the last time they had it up there, and it was really one of my favorite woodworking conferences, shows, whatever you want to call it, that I've been to. Hopefully I'll be able to go. I was just going over my schedule with my wife a few days ago, and she wasn't wild about it. So we'll see if that works out. Membership gym. I had just had an idea. You should hawk our YouTube channel when you sign people up. Be like, hey, while you're here, let's get your email in there and sign them up so they subscribe on our YouTube channel.
Cal was just thinking of that.
Okay, great idea. 916 members currently, so thank you all. 920, awesome. Matt, programs, you want to come give an update? Okay, all right. Steve, anything to discuss safety-wise? Looks like I blew right past Chuck, so I need to.
You gotta come over so we can see you. I don't have a camera guy today.
Need help. I'll start there. We're always looking for committee members. If you have a 1-2 standard a month, you're not doing anything, we'll take more membership there. The other thing I'm just going to quick mention is wear your safety glasses. Second you hit the door to the second you leave, safety glasses. And I'm sure it's nobody in here, but I really stress it at orientation that our foremen aren't here to clean up after us. So pick up a broom. Band saws are dusty. Table saws are dusty. It's true. I mean, it amazes me what some of the people leave, but I'm sure you've all seen it. So that's it. My big thing is we need help. We have a router table video ready to go, but we need an on-screen personality. And then we just, our safety committee membership has dwindled, so if we can fire that back up, it would be great.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, Chuck. I did skip over you. Chuck, do you have an announcement to go over?
Why, yes, I did.
I thought you did. So come on over. You got to come this way, Chuck. Keep coming until you're on there.
This afternoon, guy Gavin Wood. I don't know if he just printed these up for us so that it sounded good, but he is the director of STEM at Operation Breakthrough, which is up at Truston 31st. They do working with disadvantaged kids, getting them into trades and learning stuff. They are looking for a fabrication woodworking facilitator. That it's structured as either part-time or full-time, woodworking and soft metals instruction, CNC operation and training, safety, quality assurance, curriculum development, and if that kind of thing interests you no end, and you're tired of being retired and you want to work with young kids, and you've got a lot of patience, this might be just the thing for you. It's not just the thing for me, but he seemed like a nice guy, and they're trying to get some work done and get some stuff to happen.
All right, you're selling anything back there?
No. Everyone who needs dowels, I've got dowels, but other than that, nothing.
Okay, thank you. Next on the list is sponsorship. Dwayne has raffle items in the back. Do you have you have 7 raffle items. Is that what you said? Is that what you're saying?
7 raffle items. They're excellent for birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas. Thank you.
I can repeat your joke for you. So they're well, it's not. No, it's not a joke. It's good practical information that the raffle items are good for birthdays, Christmas, and anniversaries. So if you need a good idea for any of those any of those occasions, go back and see Dwayne. And we already talked about training. And right now, I don't believe we have a skill builder scheduled coming up. So the president has said he was going to do a skill builder, but that schedule thing we've been talking about, it keeps popping up its head. Now we go through our SIGs, which are special interest groups, and those are hand tools, which meets the 4th Sunday of the month from 2 to 4. I don't see Rob or Wayne, but I'm sure they have a great program coming up. Wood carvers. Dan, do you want to make an announcement about the wood carvers? Fourth Tuesday of the month at 6. 6 to 8 in the classroom, and I'll, like I always said, if you have a carving project, they'll come help you. They do power carving, they do traditional carving, you know, folk carving, architectural carving, whatever carving you want, they can come help you out. And it might be fun to just kind of hang out with people that like to do the craft of carving. Laser engraver, Mike is not here. I didn't see Curtis either. Craig, do you know of anything going on with the laser engravers?
No, I do not.
Meet the 4th Wednesday of the month at 7. So if you're interested in laser engraving, and typically they also will train you on the equipment either during or after the SIG. And that's the next one would be July 26th.
Yeah, you do have to go through training before you can use the laser.
Absolutely. Next one, scroll sawing. John, do you have anything to
I don't have anything, and I'm not fully aware of
Okay.
coming up. George Rexroad is the key on that.
Well, that's the next one is August 9th and the 2nd Wednesday of the month. So if you're interested in scroll sawing or you have a project you want help with, the scroll saw SIG is the place for you. And then CNC, Ed, anything special?
I didn't even notice you.
Nothing special. August 15th is the next one, so that's the 3rd Tuesday of the month at 6:30. So we kind of have blown through the agenda. That was nice and quick. You guys know that I like that. So we do have some nice projects. So now it's time for everybody's favorite. The incomparable Jim Bainey will come up and lead us through show and tell.
A lot of you know that I am a volunteer at the Flourish Furniture Bank a couple of days a week, and we get all kinds of used furniture there in all kinds of different conditions, shapes. And what I learned this week was that Harbor Freight is in the furniture business, and I'll show you. Evidently, this was manufactured that way. I don't have a clue. Steve Erickson saw it first and put my name on it. What happens when you go downhill? Oh, I knew that. Okay. When I told them I was taking it, bringing it here, they said, "Don't bring it back."
Why?
Is anybody interested? I'll make you a heck of a deal. All right, who wants to go first?
It's my version of a Native American hand drum. We're doing I'm with the Nez Perce. I'm with the Nez Perce Trail Foundation, and Joseph and the Nez Perce were at Fort Leavenworth for about 8 months, and then they left from the city of Leavenworth and went down to Oklahoma in 1877. Actually, 1878 is when they left. 1877 was the so-called last great Indian war that was conducted by the Army against the Indians. So we're going to do a monument there in Leavenworth, and one of the things we want to do is offer people, if they make a really nice donation, then we will give them a hand drum. And we'll have some other things there for less big donations too. But anyway, what I did was with a bird's mouth router bit, 16 segments, and it's walnut, and then I just used mineral oil and beeswax, and then it's bison is a hide.
So how'd you clamp it together?
I have a belt,
Okay.
just the belts. I use 2 belts.
Did you use a form inside to keep it?
No, I did not use a jig, though it would come out more round if I used a jig, though it's pretty doggone close to being, it's round enough.
Okay. So, are you a member of a drumming circle?
No, that would be pretty cool, though. I mean, I've seen drumming circles, and that could be a lot of fun. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm a member of one, and
okay.
Yeah, it's
Drumming
anyway.
circle. A whole bunch of people get together and do drumming.
Yeah.
I
highly encourage it.
Yeah, we have one at the Council on Aging in Leavenworth. They use a large ball and it's in a thing, drum, a big tub, and then they pound on there and they dance and they do all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah.
You can get really uninhibited.
Yeah, definitely. As far as wood shows go, next weekend, Friday and Saturday, up in Decorah, Iowa, the Norwegian American Museum up there, and Nordic.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Up at Decorah, it's the Nordic Fest, and it's like I said, Friday and Saturday, and they'll have wood carving, a lot of wood carving stuff. I took a class there for making spoons and such like that. They provide you the tools and everything else. And there's all kinds of other wood type things. If you happen to be available, you want to take a little drive up to Decorah. It's a fun place to go to. And a lot of Nordic people there playing hardanger fiddles and doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, eating a lot of lutefisk.
Yeah. Okay, I'll pass on that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
How big a donation do you have to make?
We were thinking maybe $350, because if you go online for a Native American drum, you're talking $350 or more.
And how much big a donation for, like, say, if you wanted to win an RV table?
No donation, it's yours.
You get four legs, 4 really great legs. Don't forget when you come for show and tell, I'm going to be sitting right here. Make sure you get a ticket, $25 for the winner tonight.
Did you just sign up for that spoon class up there, or did you kind of scorp it out first? Repeat the question, please.
He asked if I signed up for the spoon class. No, I did sign up for it.
Or did you scorp it out first?
Did I scorp it out first? Yeah, that's part of the joke, I guess. No, I did not scorp it out first.
All right. Any questions about that drum? Thank you. Okay.
And this is for.
All right. Now you tell me.
That's why it's white. So, got a clock. So I saw this, life is better in flip-flops. It was a round sticker on the back of a minivan down in Florida. My wife and I just got back from there a couple weeks ago, and I saw, I can make that. And so what can I do with that? And I thought, oh, I can make a clock. It's little flip-flops. So the flip-flops are actually 1/4 inch for the sole and 1/8 inch for the little straps. And it's got a clockworks in there. And after I made it round, I thought, well, how am I going to cut the keyhole slot in there? I'm like, I am such a dumbass. I can just cut them on the laser. And so it's got, the one layer's got the keyhole slot. The second layer has the relief area for the screw head on there. And then these are all just glued together, all 4 of these layers. And it cuts the laser cuts the square for the clockworks. And the top layer has the 5/16 hole for the stem to come through. So the face on this is sand from Sharky's Restaurant and Bar down in Florida. My wife grabbed a bottle and filled it up. And so on this, the last layer is the words that went on here. I took my quick and thick glue and just put around the outside and put that down. Well, actually, before I did that, I put the glue on, and then I took spray adhesive and sprayed over the whole thing. Then I put the Life is Better in flip-flops on, and then poured sand on top of the wet spray adhesive and let that set for 4 or 5 hours. And then poured off the excess, and so that is actually sand from a beach in Florida. And then just epoxied on the flip-flops.
So,
It's 10 after 10.
okay, does it keep time?
Yes, it does, yeah.
All right.
And the clockwork is from Clockit, and they offer a 5-year warranty on their clock quartz movements.
So I take it this is for your kitchen?
No, this is going to Florida.
Oh, okay.
So I hope to, I'm going to put one of these in a gallery down there, and I'm sending a lady a list
Oh,
of
so
stuff.
this is trying to make a money
Trying to make money.
out of this situation.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I've lost a lot of money in the sand.
Yeah. I bet.
I met God there one time.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah, nice looking lady. Okay. Anybody got questions about?
There's 3 layers of 1/4 inch. There's 3 layers of 1/4 inch, 1 layer of 1/8 inch, and that's what is the sand is on, and then another layer of 1/8 inch for the blue lettering. No, just I use the quick and thick. It dries clear, so if you do have any glue squeeze out, like on the little straps, you can kind of look at it if you get the glare right, but you don't see a big glob of glue in there.
So how did you get that buildup perfectly round?
Well, having the square in the back for the clockworks helps.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you use the hole in the middle for the
Yeah.
arms.
And then the glue has enough open time that you can kind of move them around a little
Okay.
bit so that you can get it smooth on the edge. They're not perfect, but
Okay.
it's good enough for that.
Nice project. Any other questions? That's really unique. Thank you. Who's next?
Mine's all on film.
Okay. You want to put those pieces over here?
Okay.
Could we start out with the drawing? All right. I always start out with a drawing. Sometimes the finished project looks like the drawing, and sometimes not so much. But this time it kind of did. Okay. This is a toolbox that I made for my grandson's high school graduation, and he's wanting to be a mechanic. So I think it'll pay off down the road. We'll see. Anyway, all right. This is number one. I was really pleased. The sides and the back and are all out of one board, so that I had a grain match all the way around. I did mitered corners at the back with a maple spline down the middle of them. Now, I'd never done that before, but it worked out pretty well. And then the cross member, okay. Number two. Okay, these are through miters. I mean, three
Dovetails.
mortises, and they were all hand cut with a chisel. And so this is just getting started. Let's go to number three. This is kind of the front piece for the cavity where the big tools would go. And the problem started here because I grooved the backboard with a dado so that the shelves would sit into that groove. Well, put 3 dados back there, and that board warped about a half an inch, maybe a little more than that. It warped like crazy. Okay. 2 more shelves are in. The dividers are in. A friend of mine has got a 3D printer that he's got a laser attachment, and he etched my grandson's name. And what you can't see in this picture is all those mortises were fine as long as I was putting it together dry. But when I put it together with glue on it, they split. They weren't strong enough to hold everything together.
How'd they split?
Right underneath the mortises.
Okay. You're talking about the side pieces split
Side
up.
pieces split
Okay.
underneath the mortises. Just, I about cried. Anyway, bad design. So, all right. I remade both of the ends using Baltic birch plywood with a cherry stain, which is what all the rest of it's been made out of other than the maple shelves. And getting that spline to match and the miter and everything else on the second go-round took a long time. I used some, let's see, number 5. That okay. The top's on it at this point, the lid's on, and I used some rosewood to plug the holes where the little groove that I cut for the lid, the top piece went. And so I plugged those holes with little chunks of rosewood. I had an old piece of rosewood flooring that I used. Okay. Now it's pretty much all together. And I thought I'd pass around. These are the pulls that I used, and they're kind of unusual. I used a Forstner bit and drilled the holes, and then I undercut the 2 edges close to each other with a gouge so that it gives you a better grip. And then, let's see, that front piece, where am I at? number 6. Okay. That walnut cover panel has got pop rivets sticking out of the bottom of it that go into eyelets on the bottom drawer. And then it's got eyelets in the top, and then there's pop rivets in the lid, so as it comes down,
It lines up.
it all lines up, and the drawers won't fall out when you're moving it around. And so I thought,
And this is one of the mortise and tenon.
yeah,
the
that's my
side.
sample that I did before I did
And-
the rest of them.
And you cut the mortises, you chiseled them all out?
I did. And that's the rosewood that I used to.
So did you put a finish on this product?
I did. There's the finished item the way Landis saw it the first time. Go ahead and go to the next one. And I put a few tools in it, even though he wants to be a mechanic. I've been trying to get him into woodworking, but we'll see.
Yeah, who wants to mess something up like that with all that grease?
Yeah. Anyway, there should be one more there with some more tools and shows some of the drawers with the pulls.
Okay.
And then there's your finish. And it's enamel, clear enamel. And it's indoor-outdoor, which I thought would be good because it's going to be bounced around. It's just, and it did darken the wood a little bit, but I was surprised it didn't do very bad.
So is this toolbox going to be on another bigger movable?
It's up to him.
Okay.
I was 2 weeks late as it was. But I thought I'd pass the pieces around. Through mortise, if you pull on it, I'm sure you can tear it apart, but there's no glue at this point. It's just wedged, and it's really pretty strong. And then I'll pass around the pop rivets and the eyelets because that's a little different. It's about 8 by 8 inches deep, 10 inches tall, and 24 inches long. So it's a pretty good size box.
And you put handles on the side of it to lift it?
I did. Bring up one of the finished, maybe that first finished picture there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And there are catches on it that you can put a lock into
Mm-hmm.
on both ends.
Anybody got any questions about this toolbox? Nice job. I bet he's really pleased. He's got an heirloom. Very good. Thank you.
My name is Russ Amos. These are, when my mother passed away, I told the family that there was 2 things that I wanted that she had. And these are walnut shells that have been carved, probably in the 1920s. I've displayed them here before, back when we were at the old church. And I had a gentleman say that they were probably hobo art. The hobos would do something and sell it so they could get a little bit of money back in the 20s. So that's from my mother, and that's anybody got any questions?
Do you have any history of
Other than it's probably 1920s vintage, and other than the one gentleman that told me it was hobo art, that's all I
Okay.
know.
All right.
But they're monkeys. Monkeys. They're monkeys.
Oh, so you have to look at them close.
Yeah, you have to. Hold on, we're gonna.
You need a magnifying glass,
He's
John.
gonna try to enlarge them here or something.
Yeah, it's not
Not in
gonna
focus.
work. You're just gonna have to, at break, you know,
Yeah, come over and see them at the break and everything. But they're it's pretty cool. It's pretty ornate. Very, if anybody's seen a walnut shell, they're very hard. And I'm sure they were working with just nothing but a pocket knife.
very good. Any more questions? Thank you, sir.
Hi, Jim Martin here. Some people took a wild guess at what this wood is. Yew, pear, hackberry, and honeysuckle. Honeysuckle wins the prize, which is, there's no prize. But anyway, this is an invasive species that's all over the place, choking out a lot of timber. And so I was clearing some of my little brother's area. And if you're not familiar with honeysuckle, it has this hollow center. And if you cut it and leave it vertical, it'll drip sap out and pool just in a horrible glob fairly quickly. And I cut this and turned it the same day green, and I was just shocked at how smooth and hard and straight it has stayed since March. And I'll be cutting a lot more of this stuff.
That's awesome. Gosh. Is there any finish on this at
No,
all?
there's no finish at all on that.
And you sanded it out to,
A little bit, I think 150,
wow.
200 maybe.
You're gonna make the other half of that back.
Yeah, it's actually I'm thinking I'll do another one and make a new vice handle for my bench vice out of it. And we've got a lot of Osage orange too. One of his trees is about 4 feet in diameter, 4.5 feet in diameter, Osage orange. So we're not going to mess with that one though.
Questions?
Any questions?
Thanks for bringing that in. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's strange stuff.
Strange. Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So, I guess I need to use this down. I had to bring this in because it only took me about a year to finish. But it's a tea box, but I got the idea first before Susan Lawler. She just finished hers first before I did. So mahogany on the outside. I got it at an estate sale. Maple is of course, the light wood. I like the art paper on the inside. There's a store on the plaza that sells a lot of this stuff. Oh, yeah. Where's the camera? There you go. So yeah, it's on the bottom and on the inside. And the only thing I still need to do is put that slick tape to just let it glide a little better and not scrape up the inside. But yeah, so it has a little leather handle and or pull, I guess you would say, and shellacs on the inside, and Odie's oil is on the outside.
Awesome. I love it.
Oh, it's so easy,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. But it took a while, just in fits and starts.
You gonna do any more of this?
I need to work a little bigger, I think. I've done a lot of little things.
Okay.
So.
Got anything in mind?
Yeah. I need to go to the hand carving sick. I think I'm going to make I think the next big thing I make is a desk. Cherry.
You know what would really look nice with this is a piece of intarsia on top.
Oh, yeah.
Just a suggestion.
I don't know how to do that.
We have one of the country's leading intarsia experts in this guild named Dave Roth.
I've seen his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to add, it is grain wrapped on 3 sides. So, that's it.
Good. This is in your kitchen?
It will be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. Questions? How long have you been in the guild?
I think 5 years.
Really? How come this is the first time I've seen you?
You're just never here.
Next. Very good. Nice work. Thank you.
This is how I stay busy. Some of you have seen it before. Is with 10 grandkids, they all expect something for birthday or Christmas from Grandpa. So last Friday, my darling bride hit me up and said, "Your youngest granddaughter has a birthday coming a week from Saturday. What are you making, Grandpa?" And it was like, oh crap, I don't know. My baby sister had something like this when we were kids. And I remember being fascinated by it. And it was like, okay, how can I kind of do this? So started plotting and scheming. Because I can't draw worth a damn, I took a kid's coloring book and found the basic horse pattern and found some legs and stuff that I wanted. And the wood is scrapped from the shop, but there's a little family history. The oak on the runners, the cherry for the horse, all came off the old home place where we grew up. So it ties it back in with family. The pine didn't. It came from Home Depot. But it was scraps, same with the dowling that was laying around. And it's finished with, because she still puts everything in her mouth, food grade mineral oil, which is getting harder and harder to find. Nobody seems to want to sell it anymore.
Odie's oil.
I hadn't thought of Odie's oil, but then I looked at the price for that and I said, I'll stick with food grade mineral oil while I can. So, but hopefully she'll get as much fun out of it as we had as a kid with it, and it's as close as I can get to what I remembered as a kid growing up. So,
Awesome. I bet that just drives her parents nuts.
well, the part with that is my daughter-in-law, one of the daughter-in-laws, that one's mother. I've been threatening to get a pony for that. I said, the American Indians, they put the baby right on the tame mare and let her walk around, so they got used to horses. And I've been threatening, she keeps saying, you get a pony, you can feed it, and how am I going to take care of it and clean up with it? It can stay at your place. So Savannah's going to get a pony. This is just the first step of the pony she's going to be getting.
Good. I can't wait to see the real one.
It'll be 4-legged and actually walking.
Yeah.
So.
Horses are like boats. 2 best days you own a boat's the day you buy it and the day you sell it.
And in answer to this question earlier, it's cut on scroll saw. Scroll saw and planer. Yes, sir.
Nice job. That's really intricate design and idea. I'll have to copy that. Very good. Questions for Bob? Thank you. Yeah, it's good. There you go.
Okay. Am I on?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Dan Ribideau, and I carve birds. This is a full-size raven, and before I carve these birds, I have a connection with the University of Iowa. I go up to the University of Iowa, and they have a selection up there. I put the birds out, and I take measurements, so I know that this is anatomically correct. I do research on how their color and their anatomy and all that type of thing. I do a clay model, and then from the clay model, I make the bird. Then I position the bird on the stand, and this is actually an imitation rock that's been painted. And this particular bird is a commission that's going to go to California. Ravens are not really black. There you go. They're not really black. They've got greens and magentas and all kinds of colors in them. and they are considered the largest perching bird in the world, I think.
Perching?
Perching, that old
Okay.
perch. Yeah, but it's not a big crow.
Hey, Jim, hold that a little higher. We can still see your face.
You get the table.
Now this, the cardinal is I teach bird carving, and the cardinal is the class that we're going to be teaching here starting in August. I only take 3 students at a time, and there's only 1 spot left. And the reason I do that is because I teach for maximum comprehension. There's a lot to this. I have a clay model, and I show people how to transfer from a clay model into a block of wood and carve it so it's accurately. There's a technique. It's just an object. You could be carving a buffalo or a bear or whatever. It's the process of how you do that. And then from that, I show how to burn the feathers in, how to re-support the bill, how to make it look like a real bird. And we also, on this particular class, I always try to improve my classes. We'll be mounting it on a driftwood base, and I've got a bunch of driftwood from the Ozarks, and we'll have to modify the base to accept it, or the student can bring something from home, spade handle or whatever they want to do. You make it an item that sits on a table, or you put it a wall mount. So there's lots of things, but primarily, all I ask the students is I will be carving a cardinal with you. All you got to do is do what I do. If you see me do it, then you do it. Just mimic me. Just follow it all. You're also going to get another block of wood that you can take home and carve whatever you want. I mean, however you want to do it. You can mimic it. So at the end, you'll have 2. One that you did at home and one that you followed me and did exactly what I do. And I've been doing it for a lot of years. I've taught a lot of people. I have people come to my shop an awful lot. I carve every day. And I'm here to help. I do not do this so you can take more courses. I do this so that you can learn to ride the bike. And once you learn to ride the bike, you can ride it wherever you want. But there are some basic techniques about bird carving that you need to understand. And I help students do that 3 at a time.
Questions?
Was California. Yeah. 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 So, it's Tupelo. And that's the other thing. Tupelo is that tree that grows in swamps and kind of in the water. It's in Louisiana and Mississippi, that type of thing. This one is carved in Tupelo because it takes detail. I'm also going to show you how to carve in basswood. There's people that swear by basswood, people swear by Tupelo. You're going to be able to compare them both for yourself. On that course, there is one thing, okay? I supply all the material. I supply the paintbrushes, all that. But you got to have a tool, and it's called a micromotor tool, and those are expensive. But you can do no better work than the tool will allow. And this tool, is it like a dental tool? It runs in 40,000 RPMs, clockwise or counterclockwise. If you look in that description on the website, it will give you 2 types, but you can have a variety of it. But what you can't not have is something you buy at Hobby Lobby that runs about 20,000 RPM. It just doesn't work. So there is a little bit of price, but that tool, I've been carving for a lot of years, and I've gone through 2 of these tools, and they last and last and last, and you can do a lot with them. But it is kind of an entry level thing that you just have to be able to do the bird. So.
Questions?
Pardon? It's called a micromotor tool. It's in the description. There's 2 of them. There's one that runs about $400, and the one I have is about $1,000. but I use it for my backbone, so I can justify it. So I've also got one at my home that's for sale that I was asked to evaluate, and I never evaluated because I had students buy them. So I watched the students use them, and they're fine, but it's just that I don't use it. So I have one that's for sale. You buy them from a taxidermy place. And that's the other thing. We buy a glass eye, and I show you how to paint it to match the bird. Some birds, their eyes change as they mature. So,
Any other questions?
Okay.
So, when does this ship?
When does this ship? Whenever I get around to it.
Oh, okay.
So.
And the Cardinal is your personal one?
Yeah, the Cardinal's personal. And by the way, see this bird? That comes off. Okay? And this particular piece of driftwood was modified to accept that and then painted. So you can take any type of driftwood, I mean, but you got to know how to modify it. So there's a lot to it. So anyway, if you're interested in it, I love it, and I look at nature altogether different. I see things three-dimensionally, and I'm just awed at the mystery of the creation of birds. So, okay.
Very good. Awesome.
Okay.
Any others? Am I the last one? So this is a frame that I made of a photograph that I just came back from a fishing trip up in northern Canada, and there were 5 of us on this trip, so I made 5 of these frames. Somebody donated a big hunk of walnut to me, and and then he came back to me and he says, "Hey, I've got probably 1,000 board feet of this. What do you want any of it?" And I'm going, let me go find some storage space someplace. So anyway, that particular trip, we were in there for 5 days. We caught over 1,000 walleyes. We got tired of fishing. So it was a real memorable trip for everybody, and that's why I wanted to. This is my 2 brothers, one of my brother's sons and his son. So we've done this a number of years in a row, and we're definitely going to do it again next year. In making this frame, putting that inlay in it was more than half of the work of making the frame. And I got an attachment for my my domino that I can take number 4 tenons and pin them together to glue them together, and that's something I've never done. I've always had a problem gluing miters together and making them line up real well. That solved it, and it's a real easy thing to do. So I spent a lot of money, or my wife spent a lot of money in buying that domino, and then I spent a lot of money in buying all the accessories for it. And there's an industry out there that's all they do is make accessories for dominoes. They're all expensive. I finished this with Odie's oil, of course. I got the other 4 ready to send out tomorrow. So that's it. Any questions? No, you can't go to Canada with me next year. No, we're full.
Here, Cal.
Did you inlay it after the fact, or did you inlay them and then miter them?
I inlaid it after the fact because in past times, before I used the mortise and tenon attachment.
So you're worried about alignment?
Yeah, exactly. So I just used a 1/4 inch or a 1/8 inch bit and made a template and did the outside one first and then did the inside one, and then I took my squaring chisel and the outside had that little radius on it. Pretty easy, but it was a lot of work. I mean, it was more than half of the project putting it together. And then I went to, if you haven't bought glass lately, it is extremely expensive. So I went to Michael's and I bought the pre-made 8x10 glass that comes in a kit, and I just threw the rest of the kit away, kept the glass. This is real glass, and if you buy the glass for photographs, you might as well remortgage the house. It is extremely expensive. I priced this out for the non-glare glass is each one of those would cost about $30. So for an 8x10 piece, which it's nuts.
Jim. So we've done in the past with scouts as to make like special awards and stuff when you need glass. Go to like Dollar General or Dollar Store and get those frames there and use that glass if you're not worried about the glare or anything like that.
Yeah, same way with Michael's. I think I bought these for like $6 a piece. So, questions? Done.
Those are some awesome projects, man. That bird is incredible. Thank you all for bringing the projects. That's great. I don't know about you all, but that's always my favorite time. So that gets us to our break. We're going to take about a 7 or 8 minute break, and then we'll come back with our program. Thanks.
You're watching Woodworkers the podcast, a production of the Kansas City host Kevin Thomas.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Woodworkers podcast. Today we've got a special guest with us today from author and all-around great woodworker Matt Kinney. Welcome to Kansas City.
Thank you. I am happy to be here. I'm glad y'all invited me. It's been a great time so far.
I want to get you started with what we usually try to start everybody with when we do this. How did you get your start in woodworking?
Yeah, so I guess in a way I've been woodworking most of my life. My dad, when he was working, was a contractor in Florida where I grew up. And so we would help around the house, we being my brother and sisters. Whether it was helping my dad build a boardwalk, or when I was around 10 years old, I helped him build a shed from foundation to shingles. And my brother and I we built a tree fort for ourselves once. And then when we were older, when we were teenagers, we in the neighborhood, other neighborhood boys our age would build skateboarding ramps, street ramps and half pipes. Mm-hmm. So from an early age, I was making stuff with my hands. But then I didn't really do anything until I was about 28 years old, and I made a gardening box as a gift for Christmas for someone. And I just made it with construction lumber and some tools I bought at box home centers. Mm-hmm. But it sparked something, and I started to make more things. Mostly I made a couple of ring boxes. I made a television cabinet. And then before my first daughter was born, or my only daughter, I should say, my first kid was born, I made a crib for her on the balcony overlooking, on the back of the condo I was living in at the time. And when I finished with graduate school, I was teaching philosophy, and one of my students asked me one day if I liked to make furniture because I talked about it all the time. And I said, yeah. And she invited me to meet her dad, who is a professional furniture maker. And he and I hit it off. He lived about 30 or 40 miles from me. His name's Joe Mazurek. He lives in Camden, South Carolina. So Joe and I hit it off, and he kept inviting me back out to his shop. And over the course of about 2.5 years, Joe taught me how to make furniture.
When did you decide that woodworking was going to be your career?
Well, it was around that, not long after I met Joe. As I mentioned, I was a college professor. And I was looking for a job as a college professor, a tenure track job is what they call them. It's like a permanent job. And they were hard to come by in my specialty, which was Greek philosophy. So one year I agreed with my then wife to look for a job outside of academia, and having known Joe for a while and knowing the difficulty of making it as a professional furniture maker, I decided to look for something that involved woodworking, but would also provide me with a steady paycheck. So I started looking at the different woodworking magazines to see if they would have a position open as an editor, and Fine Woodworking did. It took me about a month to decide. I didn't care whether or not they weren't interested. I sent in my application, and it turns out they were interested, and I ended up getting the job. And so I started working there in 2008.
Now, is writing something that came easy to you? Because you've written a couple of books, and you've got...
I don't know if writing came easy to me, but I've written for a long time. So as an undergraduate student at a liberal arts college, I wrote a lot of papers. And I had to talk in class a lot because we had small discussion-oriented classes. And there's not much difference between talking and speaking. It's a matter of, organizing your thoughts, distilling it into something that's concise and clear, and then articulating it. And so by the time that I left academia, I had written a lot. I'd written a dissertation, which is essentially a book. And then when I went to the magazine, I really began to learn the finer points of professional writing and editing. So it's not something that necessarily came easy to me. It's something that I learned how to do through the years. But it was a lot of my ability, my writing, whatever ability I have for it, really grew out of what I learned as a professor and as a teacher of woodworking, of communicating with people in person.
Any advice for any of our aspiring writers out there?
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is to write about things that you're passionate about, things that you care about. Because if you don't care about them, there's no way that you can write about them in a way that will make someone else care about them. So the things that I do now professionally, make furniture, teach woodworking, write about woodworking, are all things that I'm extremely passionate for. And I think that, part of being a good communicator is being able to express that passion and excitement for what you're doing. You can't do that if you're writing about things you're not passionate for. So if you want to write about woodworking, think about what it is in woodworking that really excites you. And think a lot about what it is that you want to tell people, what it is you want to share with them, and why they would be interested in it. You know, why would someone be interested in this technique that you know, or this particular style of furniture that you like? And then I always, you know, people who have trouble writing, I usually say, well, don't write, talk. Just record yourself talking as if you were explaining it to a friend, and then go back and write, you know, transcribe that into the written word, and that's the start.
That's an interesting idea. Now, the class you're teaching this week is based out of your book, 52 Boxes in 52 Weeks.
Sort of, yeah. It's yeah. That's a fair way to put it, I guess.
What was the idea behind that book?
So back in 2015, the book, the basic idea of the book was I'm going to make 52 boxes during the course of a year. And the impetus for it, there's actually several different reasons why I did it. But the core one is that I realized that in order to become a better furniture designer, I needed to design and make to completion more pieces of furniture. And but that, to make a complete piece, full-size piece of furniture like a chest of drawers, is a big undertaking. And so the way that you really get good at something, whether if you want to become better at baseball, you go out and you practice fielding grounders or fielding fly balls every single day over and over and over again. If you want to become a better distance runner, you do it by running every single day and running lots and lots and lots of miles. So if you want to become a better furniture maker and a better designer, you have to get in the repetitions. And I already loved to make boxes at the time. So I realized that I could probably make a box a week. And if I could do that for a year, I would have made 52 boxes. That would have been a lot of repetition. And I thought that would jumpstart or push me farther, along the learning curve of becoming a better designer and a better technical box maker. So that's the core of the idea, but there were other reasons why I did it.
I know you've got it working on a new book now.
I've just completed a new book that is probably on its way to the print now, or like next week or something.
What can you tell us about it?
So the first book that I wrote was really about how to design, like how I tried to become a better designer. And it was about boxes. So I learned a lot about making boxes while I was doing that. So this book, the new book, is about how to make boxes. So there's sort of like companion books. One's about designing, one's about making.
So what's the title of this forthcoming book?
So the next book that's coming out is called Build Better Boxes. And it is a companion to my first book, 52 Boxes in 52 Weeks. That book was about designing boxes, and the new one is about everything I learned making all of those boxes plus all the other boxes I've made through the years. And it's about how to make them. And the idea is that if I show you the fundamentals of sound box making, that you'll be inspired to go out to the shop and design and make your own boxes.
Do you have ideas for the next book after that?
Yeah, so that would be book number 4. My second book is The Art of Kumiko, and that came out in 2020. So the fourth book, actually, my publisher and I have already been discussing it, and that is about, so this is something we've talked about this week in class, this idea that to really be a good furniture maker, you're like the conductor of an orchestra in which you're also playing all of the instruments. So, because making good furniture isn't about simply cutting dovetails or applying a finish, it's about overseeing the entire process from beginning to end and taking all those individual things and bringing them together to create something that is more than the sum of the parts. And so the next book will be sort of like a deep dive into how you go about making a piece of furniture from beginning to end. So from design stage to the lumber yard, to the milling process, to the finishing. How you go about managing all of those steps and producing a piece of furniture that is beautiful, is meaningful, and is something that both you and your descendants or your client and your client's descendants will want to keep around. And there'll be like maybe 5 or 6 different pieces of furniture in the book that we cover different aspects of that process with.
That sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to that one. Have you enjoyed your time in Kansas City so far?
I have enjoyed my time in Kansas City so far. I guess I've been here for a little over 48 hours. I've had some good meals and 1 or 2 enjoyable beers. And the class has been fun. It's all great students, and it's not too hot, it's not too humid, so it's all good.
Well, Matt, if someone wants to know more about your work and your books and so forth, where do they go?
Well, the 2 best places to see what I'm up to, the first would be my Instagram account, which is
All right, everyone. So Matt put together a great program. We had a lady from the Toy and Miniature Museum lined up. She hasn't been able to make it. So we were giving it some extra time to see if she would show. But as of now, we don't have a program. So feel free to hang out. Continue. Usually I have to scold people to sit back down. Now we can say just hang out, enjoy yourselves. Nothing wrong with going home early sometimes. So our apologies on behalf of the guild, but it's great to see everyone here anyway. Yeah, you could come up and check out this. It's got some sweet inlay on the top too. So it's a novelty piece in itself.
Okay, a lot of you might be interested in the carving class. We do have some carving equipment in here that the Carver SIG picked out specially. It's kept locked up. If you all want to see some of that stuff, would you be willing, Dan, to show off what we've got back there? A lot of people don't know we have a very extensive set of carving tools. Yeah, now. We can just open the cabinet, you can say this is this, and this is this, and here's this. You don't have to demonstrate how to use it. What's that? Carver squirrel. But if you've never taken time to look through some of the cabinets in here, if you're not a member that has shop privileges, look through some of the cabinets, and this may change your mind to become a member with shop privileges, because we do have a very extensive hand tool.
Well, all I can say is that if we have 3 units to do feathers for, it's called pyrography. Do feathers on a bird, or you can do any type of detail with the tool. They get very, very hot, and it comes in a kit, and you can change the tips of it. Now the thing about it is it needs to be done with supervision to start off with, and so we'd suggest that you come to the wood carving SIG that's on the 4th Tuesday of every month, so we can step you through it. But we have it under lock and key, but just ask the foreman and they'll unlock it for you. Then we have a variety of carving tools. The only thing we ask with the carving tools, you're welcome to use them. Don't try to sharpen them. Let me sharpen, let somebody else sharpen, because you can burn them up quickly, and they're a high-grade steel, and they're professional tools. And then we also have a Fordham that is used to rough out a carving. It runs a lot slower, but those bits are, you have to supply your own bit, and there's a variety of them. On the class I teach, I have them get specific ones, because generally it boils down to about 4 or 5 ones that I use all the time. So it's available.
So if you want to see some of the carving tools, I'll grab the keys in there and we'll unlock it. Oh, you got a key for the locks? Yeah, and so it's in the hand tool room, classroom number 2 over here. And but for a lot of you who don't know that we've got this stuff, this is a great opportunity to see some of it. Yeah.
Appreciate that, everyone, and thank you all for being here. See you next time. Yeah, feel free to help clean up, put away chairs, kind of the typical thing. So thank you, everyone.
Special thank you to our guest today, to the Guild's Leadership Committee, and to all of our sponsors. For more information about the Guild, upcoming classes, and events, please visit our website kcwg.org. You can also find us on social media by searching for Kansas City Woodworkers Guild, and remember to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications.